Hello everyone, welcome back to our visual programming course. In this module we will start the chapter 4, which is control structures, iteration or looping structure. So where we will see how we can make use of the looping structure available in C#. You might remember the looping structure or iterations we studied in our fundamentals of programming course. The similar syntax is applied here, and we will use Windows Forms to learn this. Here we have before starting looping structures, I would like to introduce three controls, actually three controls. First we will see the Listbox, and then we will see ComboBox, and in the middle of the chapter we will see how we can use checked Listbox. So first we will start with Listbox. Listbox control is what looks here. You can see here the Listbox. So we use Listbox to display some contents in a box where we would like to have a list of items to let the user choose from. So it conserves space. If you want to list so many items within a space, conserved space on the form, you can use Listbox as well as ComboBox. Listbox is rather little bigger than ComboBox, because ComboBox conserves space so much. So this Listbox control is best used for when you are trying to display a large number of items which you can select, or which you can let the user to select. By default you can only select one item. The user can select only one item from the Listbox by default. So you might have seen Listbox in MS Word application, where the font formatting dialog box, if you trigger the font formatting dialog box, you will see a lot of Listboxes in the dialog box. So we will see one example for Listbox, one or two examples for Listbox, and by default it allows to select only one item. If you set the multi-select property to true, you can select more than one item to be selected. It's a selection mode property. And if the total number of items exceeds the number of items that can be displayed, say for example this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or something. So if it can display only 6 items, if you have more than 6 items, automatically you will see vertical scroll bar appearing, so that you can scroll down and up to see the list of items. So it is displayed as long as the multi-column property of the Listbox is set to false. It is by default it is set to false. If you make it true, if you allow the multi-column property to be true, what it does is it will the list of items will be displayed as columns, right? You can see more than one column. In that instance, if the box is unable to accommodate all lists, automatically you will see a horizontal scroll bar appearing. So that is the character of the Listbox. And as I told previously, the selection mode property allows whether you can select multiple item or single item at a time. By default it allows you to select only one item. That's how the Listbox works. So if you want to add items to the Listbox to be displayed, you can define it at design time as well as run time. Both at both time you can give the list of items. So if you want to add items at the design time, while you are designing the form, you have to make use of the items property of the Listbox. The items properties, when you click on these item properties, you will see an ellipsis next to it. If you with the 3 dots, if you give a click on that ellipsis button, you will get this string collection editor dialog box appearing. You can type the content to be displayed in the Listbox. So here we have given 5 items: introduction to IT, computer literacy, visual programming, database management, and e-commerce. All these 5 items will be displayed in this list box once you click this OK button. So if you press enter key once, you can add a space here. This space will also be added here, right? So that's how it works. And if you want to add these items to the list box, add in the runtime, you can programmatically add the items. For that purpose, you have to use the add method of the items collection, right? Add method adds items to the list box. So if you are adding string values, you have to enclose them within double quotes. If you are not if you are adding numbers, numeric values, you have to you don't have to enclose them within double quotes, right? Add item, it adds the item. If you want to remove all items available in the list box, you have to use the clear method of this items collection. So if you call the clear method, all items available in the list box will be removed. And if you want to remove a selected item from the list box, you have to use a remove method, and you have to make use of the selected item property, right? It's a collection. Actually, when you use this sample list box, it's the name of the list box, and selected item means the item that you have selected in the list box, right? So remove method asks for an argument. You have to give the parameter here. So you have to see sample list box dot selected item means the items that you have selected will be removed. If you don't have any items selected, it might trigger an error. You have to make sure that item is selected, right? So that's how we can add items at runtime and clear all the contents available in the list box, and removing a particular item that is selected. That is also possible. As other controls in the forms, Listbox also has its own methods. So the default method for the Listbox is selected index changed. If you double click on a button, you will get a click event. If you double click on a text box, you will get text changed event. Like that, if you double click on a list box, you will get a selected index changed method appearing. That is the default method, which means the selected index change means when you click and a selected item changes. So whenever you click on a different item, the index for the item also changes. Index starts with 0. So if you have 5 items, it's a collection of arrays, a list of items. So it starts, if you have 5 items, it starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? That is index. So you can give code to what to do when a user clicks on list box's item, what to do. You can give code. Here we have given an example of displaying the selected text in the text property, as well as text property of a text box, text property of the form, as well as text property of the text box. So here we are going to give a selected item text box, the name of this text box, right? The name of this text box, selected item text box dot text equal sample list box dot selected item to string, because since it's a collection of items, you have to convert it to string value, otherwise you can't assign it to a text, right? So that's why we have given to string conversion method. Also this dot text, this means the form. So form's text property is going to be set sample text box selected item to string. Okay, so the same code is given here, right? That is how we work with list box. And also we have, if you want, this is the default method. What we are seeing here is the default method, that is selected index change. If you want to add functionality, programming functionality, so when a user double clicks, what to do like that. Here we have added 2 list boxes, and here what we are doing is when the user double clicks on an item, the double clicked item gets copied to the another list box. So in order to do this, we have made use of this double click event of this list box. So when you click on the list box, and if you click on these events icon, you will see the events available for this list box. We are going to use this double click. So you have to double click on this double click method, right? So that you will be getting this event here, and we are going to add. So the name of this list box is from list box. This is from list box, and this is to list box. Okay, so we are getting the item from the from list box, and we are adding it to list box. So this is what is done here. That is how we can work with list box. And the other control that we would like to see is combo boxes. Combo box is also similar to list box. The difference is that it conserves space. If you don't have space to list all items, or if you don't have to accommodate much space, you can use combo box rather than list box. You can see font combo box in the MS Word application, font size, a lot of combo boxes you might have come across with. So combo box control is another way of allowing a user to choose from a set of options, right? Set of items, right? The combo box control looks like a text box with a button on its right side. It looks like a text box with a downward looking arrow button on the right side. When the button is clicked, the list box shows a drop down box containing the list of options or items available. So when you click on this button, black color button, you will see a list of items displayed. The user can choose from the list available. So click event is when click event occurs when the component is clicked, and selected index changed occurs when the item selected is changed, right? Similar to the list box. Some properties items are similar to the list box, and sorted, you can sort the items by ascending or descending order. So descending order in a sense, and not the descending order, ascending order. Sorted, if you make it the sorted property is true, you can get it ordered as in ascending order, right? Arranged in ascending order. Text property is returned when the default text. So the default text, when there's no item selected, the text property we set, and selected index gets or sets the selected index. Every time every item has an index starting from 0, as I told previously, and the number of items -1. So that is the index property. Selected item gets or sets the item of the currently selected item. So it means when you click on it, it gets the item that is selected, or you can make one item to be selected by setting its selected item property, right? This is how a combo box works. This is an example of a combo box. We have added a weekday name here. So what the functionality of this program is to copy the content from this combo box and to add this to a list box. So when the user select an item and clicks the copy button, automatically the item selected will be copied here. So this is the code target listbox.items.add. This target listbox.items.add equals the days combo box, this combo box dot selected item. Same like list boxes. So the copy button is additional one. Otherwise, you can double click on this box, and in its click event or selected index changed event, you can give this code. That is also possible. Here we are using the copy button. Additionally, we are using we are doing a test here. We are making sure that at least an item is selected. Is ensured by this code. Days combo box to selected index, not selected item, right? Not selected item. Here it is selected index is not equal to -1. -1 means none is selected. So the index starts from 0, and if there are 10 items, it is 10 minus 1, 9. So 0 to 9. So if it is if you have selected at least one item, it will return the index between 0 and 9. Otherwise, if you don't have a selected, if you don't have any item selected, it will the selected index property shows you the -1 value. So we are making sure it is not -1. So if it is -1, it will show an error, throw an error. That's why we have given -1, right? So we will see in the code how we can work with these Listbox and ComboBox. Until then, bye. Right.